Happy Friday. I freaking hate unders. Holy cow. But we got a big show for you. Let's talk some basketball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week. That's right. Last couple days have been tough in the NBA. I'm not going to lie. We're going to go over the bets and all that, but it just has not been pretty for me. But you know what? We're going to hit these speed bumps. It happens. That's why you have bankroll management. That's why you should not have two bad days and fall completely apart. We will be okay. We just got to stay positive and keep grinding. It's tough to get on here. I'll tell you that the next day after having a terrible day. But you guys have been supportive and positive, so I appreciate that. Real quick, I won't make the intro too long because we got a lot to get into today. If you want to become a Jabo MVP, hit that link in the description below now. It is only $2.99 a month. Really helps this channel grow for all the hours I put in this video and to give you guys as much value as possible. So you get some prioritized replies, shout out, badges, emojis. You guys know how that all works. But we got some research help and things to get into in this video. We got Beck's recap from the last 2 days. Again, I don't want to talk about it, but I will. And then I'm going to give you two positions, small forward and power forward, because we are falling behind on the positions this week. So centers will be the ones skipped this week. If you want to go check on Friday's video last week, we gave out all the info for the centers. So we'll talk points, rebounds, and assists to both of those positions. There will be no inside the lines. Obviously, not a ton has changed against the spread and over-under teams. But again, go check out last week Friday's video if you want to see those numbers. I just didn't have time. Kids are not sleeping well, and we just were super busy today and tonight. So then we got three best bets on this 14-game slate in the NBA. And then, of course, I got that Friday parlay. See if we can win two parlays in a row. And we wrap it all up with the bets recap. So we're going to get right into it. But before we do, hit that like button, leave a comment below like so many of you guys have been doing it. Every single comment I appreciate. I really do. It really helps this channel grow. And the reason we're almost to 20,000 subscribers, a big part of that is because of you guys just taking a second out of your day to hit the like button or leave a comment. So thank you guys. I do appreciate it. And I see all the comments. So I'm ready to get started. And let's get to the bets recap. All right, there's the recap, guys. It is not pretty. There are a lot of red X's. Let's go over real quick. 5-point teaser, Rockets and Jazz from Wednesday. Holy cow, what a sweat. I was freaking out, as was the entire Discord all night over that Jazz game. They were getting dominated the whole game by the Pistons, who could not miss a shot to save their life. But somehow they hit a three to go to overtime. The Pistons did to help us out, and the Jazz win and cover the -4 in overtime for a nice winner. We're now 2-0 on teasers. Booker 4+ rebounds. Adebayo 10. That was just a terrible read. I don't even know what happened. Adebayo had like 6 and Booker had 2, like half of their averages. I didn't understand, but bad read on my part. Giannis 30+ points, Lillard 20+, and Lopez 2+. I know Lillard went over. I think Giannis fell just short, but then Lopez got 0 blocks. If you look at Brooke Lopez's game logs, tell me how many 0 block games you see. But it was the one I bet, unfortunately. And then this one hurt, guys. You're going to hear more about Jalen Johnson today. But 8+ rebounds and Emmanuel quickly 13+ points. You just see it as a loss, guys. I know that. But for those of you that followed the game, at the end of the day, you got to find out, did you have a good bet? Was it a good read? Because bet number 2 and 3 for me were not good reads. Bet number 4 absolutely was. Jalen Johnson grabbed 2 rebounds in the first 2 minutes of the game and then decided to get 2 fouls and sat out all the way until sometime in the second quarter. Picked up a third foul right before halftime and then picked up another foul right at the start of the second half. He was in foul trouble, didn't even play 30 minutes, and he still ended with 7 rebounds, falling 1 short. So it happens. Foul trouble is just part of the game. Quickly went over this. I think he like doubled his points, so we're going to talk about him later too. But he's been awesome. So we were 1 rebound short of going 2-2 that day. That's how close we were. But then Thursday, well, I tried under, guys, and it didn't work. It doesn't mean I'm not going to go back to it. I know I faded Giannis, the Greek freak, blah, blah, blah. 34.5 was a lot. We got value. It ended at 31.5. So we got great value. Giannis said, F you, I don't care. How dare you bet under? He took, I think, the most shots he's ever taken in a game. What I didn't take into account was Wemby motivating him. If you watch that game, I was actually excited by watching that game. It was a fun game to watch. Wemby and him went back and forth, back and forth. But unfortunately, it motivated Giannis and Damian Lillard. No one else could do anything. So my goal was that was going to be a blowout, and he sat the fourth quarter. Well, it didn't. The Bucks almost lost because the Bucks are a joke of a team right now. They really are. They don't have an identity. Blah blah blah. You guys don't want to hear all that. But anyways, The last one, Aaron Gordon under 16.5 points, Chris Paul under 8.5. Paul went under 8.5 easily. Aaron freaking Gordon averages just over 13 points a game, just got his whole face and body bit up by a dog, and comes out in his second game back after limited minutes in his first games and puts up 30 freaking points. I got nothing, guys. The NBA is absolutely bonkers. A bad read by me, I guess. But that's what we are. It was a bad day. It is what it is. I'm here to tell you about every single one of them because that's what I think. That's how we improve and how we talk through this as a community. But 1-5, we're still 85 and 75, still up 11.07 units. We will be okay. So that's the bets recap for the third and the fourth. And before we get into the bets for Friday, January 5th, let's talk some small forward and power forwards. All right, we got 6 slides to get to. The first 3 of the small forwards, so I won't waste too much time. The teams on the left are the 10 teams giving up the most points to the small forward position, led by the Knicks over there. And then over there on the right are the small forwards averaging the most points per game. This is all within the last 15 days. No huge surprises down there on Bogdanovich for the Pistons. My goodness, he went absolutely apeshit on the Utah Jazz. He had a heck of a game. He's a shooter. Jamie Jaquez Jr., I think that's how you pronounce it, or Jaime, I have no idea. 17.8 down there, a little surprise for the Heat. But other than that, Franz Wagner, I think, is hurt right now for the Magic, so be sure to check that out if you plan on trying to bet him or anything. But that's the points per game for the small forward position. Take a screenshot. Let's check out the rebounds now. And there they are, the Spurs, the only team giving up over 9 rebounds per game to the small forward. And over there on the right, now, like I've mentioned before, it's tough to know who exactly the small forward, shooting guard, power forward, NBA positions are kind of meaningless at some point. So as of right now, though, most of the superstars seem to be power forwards, to be honest with you. So Avdija for the Washington Wizards is the number 1 rebounder small forward right now. And that's Miles Bridges, number 2, not Mikal Bridges, so on and so on. So that's the small forwards with rebounds per game in the last 15 days. Let's check out the most assists given up now to the small forward. We got the Wizards and Hornets up there. And then over there on the right, Chris Middleton, 6.9. He has not played every game in the last 50 days, I don't believe, with injuries and stuff. So check that out. But Brandon Ingram, Austin Reeves, Franz Wagner again. That's Mikal Bridges, number 5, not Miles on that one. So so on and so on. But those are the small forwards averaging the most assists per game in the last 15 days. And now let's move over to the power forward position and points given up. We all know it. The Pacers, 31.99 points per game given up to the power forward position in the last 15 days. And then over there on the right, we'll talk about this guy a little bit later too, but Julius Randle averaging over 30 points per game right now in the last 50 days. He's just been on an absolute tear offensively. And then Giannis, of course, Banchero. No real surprises here. You know, you got your Durant's, LeBron James, Lauri Markkanen, Zion, all those guys over there on the right. So that's the points per game for the power forward. Now let's check out the rebounds. Spurs right up there again, 12.03 rebounds a game to the small forward or power forward position. And then, of course, Giannis, who just played the Spurs just yesterday, averaging 12.5 rebounds per game. And then there's that boy again, Jalen Johnson of the Hawks, 11 rebounds per game. Julius Randle, Larry Nance, I believe, is a power forward. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but and then I think Sadiq Bey plays power forward, at least where they have him listed. But again, small forward, power forward, not a huge difference on some teams. And so yeah, those are the 10 power forwards averaging the most rebounds per game. And let's move on to the final slide. The most assists given up to the power forward position. There are the Spurs again up at the top, giving up 5.74 per game. And then we got LeBron James. I don't even know if you consider him power forward anymore. He's pretty much playing point guard for Lakers, as you can tell by his 8.2 assists. And also Kevin Durant. He's been a power forward the entire season. In the last few games that he's played, he's just been dishing out dimes. He's running the offense. He's pretty much playing like a point guard. So you guys take that for what it is. They might be considered point guard now. Who knows? The NBA is crazy right now, but they are averaging a ton of assists right now. Banchero 5.4, pretty impressive. Tobias Harris 4.7, so on and so on. So I went through that quick, but that's the small forward and the power forward position. We did point guards and shooting guards earlier this week. If you want centers, check out the video last Friday. Hopefully that helps you guys go get some winners or at least starts you out on your research for Friday. So that's what we got. And now it's time to get into the best bets. All right, game number 1 takes us out to Indiana. We got the Pacers hosting the Atlanta Hawks. Pacers minus 3.5, over under 264 in this game. That's right. I said 264. Against the spread, Hawks 8 and 25 this year, the worst team in the league. 6 and 12 ATS on the road, also the worst. Pacers 19 and 15 against the spread, 10 and 7 at home. And the over under. There's a reason this total is high. Hawks 21 and 12 to the over. Pacers 22, 10 and 2 to the over. This total is the highest total, I believe, in NBA history. Just think about that for a second. The highest total in NBA history, I believe, at 264. I couldn't even believe it. I've seen two basketball games in the 90s. Put them together and you don't get this. Anyways, my best bet in this game, it's not a side because who the heck knows with this many points what's going to happen. Probably Pacers if I had to, but it's our boy. I know he let us down once, but that's because of foul trouble. Give me Jalen Johnson over 28.5 PRAs at minus 125 on FanDuel. It was the first bet I went to when I saw this game. I know what the Pacers do against power forwards. I know I've seen Jalen Johnson play. I wanted to get this if it was under 30, and sure enough, it was. So we can't predict foul trouble, guys. That's all we can think about with this guy right now is that he got in foul trouble and lost a bet for us. But he has never fouled out this year. Never. And the 5 fouls he got last game was the most fouls he's ever gotten this season. So it's not like he's a guy who's fouling out every other game or anything like that. And like I mentioned, this game total has a 264 total. If you watch Jalen Johnson play, he is exciting. When he gets going, he is athletic. He can hit shots. He threw down a dunk that I just saw. I forgot who was on that last game. It was pretty freaking impressive. This guy attacks the rim. He can hit shots. He's athletic. He attacks the glass on rebounds, as you guys know we talked about before, averaging a ton of offense or potential rebounds. And when he gets going, he gets going. Last game, even in foul trouble, in 28 minutes, the guy scored 28 points. That's right, 28 minutes to get 28 points. This line is 28.5 for all PRAs. So he's facing the Pacers. Over the course of this season, we know the Pacers most points to the power forward position, 29.28. Sixth most rebounds to the power forward position, 10.82. Again, this is over the course of the season, and they're about average versus assists. They are giving up a total of 44.20 PRAs to the power forward position. I need 29 from a guy who's been playing very well. When Jalen Johnson's not in foul trouble, he plays big minutes. It also helps that DeAndre Hunter is out, which gives him a few extra minutes, it looks like. Jalen Johnson, he's played 31 plus minutes in 6 of the 7 games prior to getting 5 fouls last game. So this guy is playing good minutes. And he has the ability to pop off for 25 and 13 rebounds, guys. So, I mean, either of those categories could really help. I think he has a chance to score 20 easily in this game that has a total of over 260, if I haven't said that enough. So I think he could get there in close to in points alone, but he's not a bad double option too for maybe a 20 and 10 kind of guy. So he's just exciting to watch. He's going to be fun in this transition up and down type of basketball. Give me Jalen Johnson over 20.5 PRAs. If he is on his game, he will absolutely fly over this total. That is my first best bet. All right, here we go. Can we make it 3 in a row? I got another 5-point teaser for you. Here we go. Thunder money line and Mavericks minus 5.5. Let's start with the Thunder money line. That's right. It's not a money line parlay. It is a teaser. I'm saying money line because it is minus 5 right now. You take it down 5 points. It means it turns into a Thunder money line or pick 'em, however you want to say it. But they are traveling to Brooklyn. We've been talking about the Nets and how bad they've been playing lately, but the Oklahoma City Thunder just lost to the Atlanta Hawks. You guys are going to see that. They just lost on the road. They were terrible at the beginning of the game and then came back and lost like 141, 138 or something like that. It was a close game. But it was an obvious letdown spot, guys. It was the second night of a back-to-back after beating a very good Boston Celtics team. It wasn't that much of a surprise. I'm kind of mad I didn't take the Hawks in that game, to be honest with you. But the Thunder team has been a cash cow for us. We are 3-0 with them this year, and they've only lost back-to-back games twice this season. That's how good this team is. They've only lost twice, and here's who they've lost to. In the second night of a back-to-back, they went into Minnesota and only lost by 3. That is a tough one to play, and they still are right there. And then they lost to the Golden State Warriors by 2 on the second night of a back-to-back. So they are still in games. Those are very good teams. The Nets are not to their level. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, the number 1 team in the league ATS after a loss. 7-1-1 ATS after a loss. So they know how to get the job done. And of course, when I say against the spread, that would mean Thunder minus 5 in this game. I only need them to win by a point. So they're also happen to be the number 1 road against the spread team in the league, if that helps you too. So this team is good. You guys know that. I've been talking about them forever. They should be the Sonics, but that's okay. But anyways, I don't say that every video, do I? Thunder just beat the Nets 124-108 on New Year's Eve. And we bet the Thunder in that game. If you remember, I did a short, gave out Thunder -7. They won the game easily. It took them a while, but they pulled away in the second half. I think the Nets have their hands full here, guys. OKC, 5th in offensive rating, 8th in defensive rating, and the Nets struggle versus good teams. Call them the Miami Dolphins or Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. Shots fired. Anyways, here are the last 6 games that they've played versus decent or good teams. Lost to the Rockets by 11. Lost to the Pelicans by 27. Lost to the Thunder by 16. Lost to the Bucks by 22. Lost to the Nuggets by 5. And lost to the Knicks by 19. They don't play very well against good teams. And by the way, they are not the Dolphins and Cowboys, because that would require the Nets to actually beat the bad teams pretty easily, and they do not do that all the time. So, but OKC, one of the top teams scoring in transition, and the Nets are a bottom 10 team, giving up quite a few fast break points. OKC caused a lot of turnovers. They are 4th in steals. I think they're going to get up and down, get some points off turnovers. The only advantage the Nets really have in this game is rebounding. They've been a better rebounding team. A lot of people are than the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't think it matters much when the Thunder are just going to score on almost every possession. So give me the Thunder to just win, baby. Now, the second leg, the Mavericks. They are 10.5-point favorites at home against the Blazers. Take it down 5 points, you get -5.5. They host the Blazers for the 4th time. Well, they didn't host them all 4 times, but this is the 4th time they are playing them. Here's what they've done so far. Beat them 125-112 on December 8th in Portland. Beat them 131-120 in Portland. And beat them 126-97 2 days ago in Dallas. Average margin of victories in those 3 games, 17.66 points per game. Mavericks are finally healthy. Not fully healthy, but Lively is questionable. 2 days ago, Lively played 18 minutes before he got hurt, scored 0 points. It didn't matter. They still won by 29 points. And DeAndre Ayton for the Blazers is still out. He's been out for a little while now. The Blazers just don't have the weapons to keep up, guys. This Blazers team relies on Anthony Simons to go off and Jeremy Grant. I mean, we're talking Anthony Simons and Jeremy Grant versus Luka freaking Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Maybe I'm saying Doncic wrong every time. Someone corrected me in the comments. I don't even know. But either way, he's a stud. Blazers, they're going to pretty much need to shoot like the Pistons just did in Utah a couple days ago. I mean, they're going to need to make a ton of shots. The closest game they had against the Mavericks when they only lost by, I think it was 11, they needed Anthony Simons to score 33 points in that game just to keep up with them. So even if Simons scores 30, that doesn't mean they're going to be able to hang with this Mavericks team. I think the Mavericks win another easy game, probably win by 10 plus. All I need is a 6-point victory. So give me the Thunder to just win. Give me the Mavericks to win by 6 or more and see if we can move to 3-0 on our teaser bets. All right, my third and final bet before we get to the Friday parlay. It is a player prop parlay, maybe my favorite bet of the day. Here we go. Tyrese Halliburton, 11 plus assists. Emmanuel Quickly, 12 plus points. And Julius Randle, 20 plus points at -130 on DraftKings. Yes, it is a little juiced. I'm going to tell you different ways that you could easily make this a little closer to even money. I'm going to stick with this because I want a winner. That's just what I want. So Halliburton, 11 plus assists. His total I saw on FanDuel is 13.5. You may still be able to get 12.5 somewhere. If you can, you could take 12.5. Or you could take 12 plus assists and go over 11.5 if you want. That'll make the odds right back down to probably some plus money if you want that too. So that's one way to do it. But let's talk about Halliburton real quick. This game, by the way, I may have mentioned it only 5 other times, has the highest total in NBA history. This guy is an unbelievable passer. The best passer alive right now, Tyrese Halliburton. He is averaging 12.7 assists per game. 12.7. I just need 11 in the biggest matchup ever, the greatest matchup ever for him. He had 16 assists last game against the Hawks this season. And that game ended 157-102. It went over by a lot. That was insane. He's now had 11 plus assists in 9 of the last 10. That's right, guys. 11 it seems like a lot of assists. It's really not for him. 9 of the last 10. And like I mentioned, if you can get 11.5 on its own, or if you want to do 11.5 instead, or get 12.5 as its own single bet, go for it. Again, this is just what I'm putting together. You could make any of these easily their own single bet as well. So Hawks, as you guys know, they suck against point guards and assists. They've given up the 4th most assists to point guards in the NBA this season. All signs point to another 15 plus assist game by Tyrese Halliburton, to be honest with you. I just need 11. So Next one, Emmanuel Quickly of the Toronto Raptors. I've been talking about him since he moved over to the Raptors. I remember watching this guy in New York. I'm losing my voice. It's like midnight already. But when he came off the bench, he was sometimes just absolutely electric. But he was held back a little bit. Didn't get huge minutes. He had Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, all those boys there. But he is finally the starting point guard for a team, and they're letting him play a little bit. So um, his points line is 17 and a half. You could take that over, or if you just want to add a little bit extra to this parlay and you don't want to touch the Halliburton, you could also go Emmanuel Quickly 15 plus points. I was ever so close to doing that. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 20 plus again in this one. But he scored 26 last game, which was his second game of the season with the Toronto Raptors, and he took 18 shots and played 32 minutes. I expect another 30 plus minutes out of him. And this is the crazy part. It hasn't been a lot because he's been with the Knicks, but in games this season that he has played 28 or more minutes. I mean, as long as he's not in foul trouble or anything like that, he's pretty much locked into playing 28 or more minutes in this one. He's done it 8 times. 2 of them have been in Toronto, 6 with New York. Here is what he has scored in those 8 games total: 26, 14, 12, 20, 18, 27, 20, and 24. I mean, 12 is his lowest he's ever had in those 8 games. He's averaging 20.12 points per game in the 8 games he has played this year, where he has played 28 or more minutes. So when this guy gets time, he knows how to score. He is a walking bucket sometimes. So all we need is 12 points in an up-tempo game versus the Sacramento Kings as my second leg. And the third leg, Julius Caesar Randle, 20 plus points. This is absolutely here to reduce the juice. If you want to go Julius Randle 25 plus, you could do that too, 22 plus, whatever it is you want to do. This guy has been scoring a crap ton of points. He has scored 20 plus points now in 19 straight games. It's pretty much a lock. That's a terrible word. I hate the word lock because bad things happen, but it's not a lock. I'll just say he does it a lot, and it's especially without Barrett and Quickly. My goodness, the Knicks traded away 2 offensive players and got a defensive player, Anunoby. So you know the volume's going to go up, and it has. In the last 2 games without Barrett and Quickly, he has scored 35 and 39 on 24 and 23 shot attempts. It's been absolutely insane. It's really just him and what's his face, Jalen Brunson for the Knicks. OG's coming in like a defensive piece, still taking some shots. He's not bad at all and still contributing to this team, but it's not like RJ Barrett, who would just shoot and shoot some more sometimes. So, like I said, I don't mind him 25 plus, but I'm just going to take his 20 plus. He's going up against 76ers, who are average against power forwards this season. I don't see any reason why a guy shooting over 20 times doesn't just put up 20 points for the 20th straight time. 20, 20, 20. How about that, huh? So give me Halliburton, 11 plus assists. Emmanuel Quickly, 12 plus points. Julius Randle, 20 plus points. Minus 130 as my third and final bet. And let's move on to that Friday parlay. All right, can we make it 2 parlay winners in a row? Here we go. Friday parlay this week. Cavs money line, Jared Allen, 12 plus rebounds. OG Anunoby over 17.5 points plus rebounds, and Nick Claxton 10 plus rebounds. You get that at plus 325 on DraftKings. I'm just going to talk about each one briefly. First one, Cavs money line. It's just to reduce the juice, or not really reduce it, but make it a little bit better. I just wanted to add a little bit to get it over plus 300. But they're at home playing the Wizards, guys. They just beat them by 30 2 days ago. It's the freaking Wizards. They're the much better team, even without Mobley and Garland. And they just proved it. They're favored by 10.5. I just need them to win. If you want to reduce it and just make it -3, -4, something like that to make it even better, feel free to go for it. But that's the first leg. Now, let's get into the juice. Jared Allen, 12 plus rebounds, been an absolute beast. He is on the Cavaliers, so the game we were just talking about, and this is just an unbelievable matchup. He just played the Wizards 2 days ago in what was an absolute blowout game. He only played 29 minutes and still got 19 rebounds. I repeat, 19 freaking rebounds in a 30-point blowout. He's had 12 plus rebounds in 4 of his last 5 games, 11 or more in 5 straight games. This actual line is 13.5 right now. That's right. His rebound line is 13.5. I took it all the way down to 11.5, took the over. He can get this, like I mentioned, whether it's a blowout or not, but the Wizards have a chance to maybe keep it more competitive. You never know. Second game of 2 days. Even if they just get him, Jared Allen, into the 30s minutes, he has that much better of a chance, but he doesn't need that many to get 12 plus rebounds. So, next one, OG Anunoby, the new guy for the New York Knicks. We've talked about him before. I'm taking his over 17.5 points plus rebounds. He's playing big minutes for the Knicks because Tibbs over there absolutely loves guys that play defense. And he's played 35 and 34 minutes in his first two games. And his PRs in those two games, PRs, not PRAs, 23 and 19 going over in both games. 76ers do a good job defending the small forward position. I thought he was playing shooting guard, but now it looks like it's small forward. But they do give up a good amount of rebounds to the small forward in the bottom 10. I think the 76ers are going to be more focused on Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle because that's what it's all about. And nobody's been crashing the glass, getting some rebounds. So I like him to go over 17.5 rebounds plus points plus rebounds for the third straight game with his new team. And then the final leg, Claxton, 10 plus rebounds, plays for the Brooklyn Nets. He's got 10 plus. He got 10 rebounds last game in the first quarter. That's right. I remember putting a message out in Discord that Nick Claxton's on pace for 40 rebounds. He didn't get that, obviously, but he now has 10 plus rebounds in 5 of the last 7 games. Last time he played the Thunder, I mentioned earlier in this video, the Thunder, the one thing they don't do well is rebound the basketball. He had 16 rebounds against the Thunder earlier this season on New Year's Eve. And the Thunder, like I mentioned, they've given up the 7th most rebounds to the center position this season at 15 and a half. His actual line is 10 and a half, heavily juiced, and 11 and a half on some books. I just need 10 or more rebounds out of Claxton. So that is the Friday parlay at plus 325. Leave a comment below. Let me know a good Friday parlay you got cooking up. And then any leans I have, I'll put in the pinned comments or any added bets. I've been kind of messing with some alternate line, 4 or 5 legs, getting around even money, and they've been doing pretty well on Discord. So if I have that again tomorrow, I'll put it in the comments below. But that's what we got. Let's check out the bets recap. Going back to Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks, over 28.5 PRAs at minus 125. And then we got a 5-point teaser. Can we make it 3 in a row? Thunder, money line, Mavs, minus 5.5. Kind of the same as an alternate line if you guys can't really do this, but FanDuel is by far the best odds for these teasers. That's plus 100. Then we got a three-leg player prop parlay. Say that 3 times fast. Tyrese Halliburton, 11 plus assists. Emmanuel Quickly, 12 plus points. And Julius Randle, 20 plus points. Minus 120 on DraftKings. And then the Friday parlay, you got the Cavs money line. Jared Allen, 12 plus rebounds. OG Anunoby, over 17.5 points plus rebounds. And Nick Claxton, 10 plus rebounds. And going back to bet number 3, actually, it's minus 130 odds, not minus 120, just so you guys know. But that's what we got. Any added plays or any leans I have or any sort of parlays I want to put together, I will put in the pinned comments below. Thank you guys for all the support this week. I appreciate it. I know it's been a rough couple days. No one's as upset as I am. It eats at me, but I got to keep grinding. We keep going back to it. Trust the process. But thank you. Hope everyone has a great Friday. We'll be back with the NFL player prop video on Friday night. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.